Hi INFJs and Autistic INFJs, welcome back to my channel. You know that little voice that you have inside your head that tells you constantly that you're not good enough, or maybe you're too weird, that's what mine always used to say, or somehow broken? For one, it's a liar. And for two, it's super annoying. INFJs and Autistic INFJs, we have some toxic habits that we've picked up along the way that make self-love feel like an impossible dream at times, doesn't it? But here's the good news. We can unlearn those habits. That's what's so good about habits is we can break them and we can learn new ones. So if you're ready to stop being your own worst enemy and start actually liking that incredible person that you are, then let's talk about 5 toxic habits that are getting in your way, starting with some of them that you might not even realize are impacting the love that you have for yourself. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name's Trina. I'm an INFJ and I'm also autistic. I created this channel with hopes of helping people like myself feel seen, heard, and understood. And also, my channel is completely unedited because that is way too much sensory overload for me, so I don't edit my videos. So any issues, any problems, any whoopses, I don't edit them out. So it could be an interesting video, especially when I can't talk very well. Anyway, welcome to my channel. I hope you find it helpful. I also help INFJs and Autistic INFJs heal self-love through coaching, classes, and community. If you're returning to my channel again, I'm glad you came back. I'm grateful for all my viewers. I appreciate you guys so much. If you haven't yet, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and like this video. I would really appreciate the support. Okay, just to let you know, some housekeeping real quick, meet and greet for February. Registration is open. It's in the description of this video. The link is. If you want to meet up with other INFJs like yourself and feel seen, heard, understood, and just mingle with people who get you, I host a virtual meet and greet for INFJs and Autistic INFJs. And you know what? It is so much fun. I have met so many amazing INFJs doing this. Anyway, check out the link in the description of this video. I'm holding two of them for February on different times to accommodate different time zones. All right, next, I'm pretty excited about this. I finished my class, so I'm hosting it now, a brand new class that I created myself for INFJs and Autistic INFJs. It's Healing Through Creation. I am very excited about this, you guys. So if you've ever felt like you're carrying so much inside and you have no idea how to let it go, that's what I felt like, just bubbling over inside, then this class is for you. You will learn how to use creativity as a way to process emotions, heal what's weighing you down, be able to let go of it, and find peace in a way that feels natural and is actually so much fun. So if this is something that sparks your interest, the link is in the description of this video as well in the resource section of this video. So go ahead and click on the link and you can learn way more about this class. I hope to see you there because I'm so excited about it. Okay, let's get into this. Enough about that. Habits, 5 toxic habits that INFJs and Autistic INFJs that we've acquired along our life that is really stopping us from loving who we are. I thought this would be a fun video. I gotta say this because I struggled with self-love for so long, almost close to my 40s. I was in my late 30s when I finally was able to start healing that self-love, and I hated who I was so bad that I could not look into the mirror. I hated myself so bad, and if I did look in the mirror, I remember standing there and saying nasty things to myself. And I didn't realize the damage it was doing and how much it really holds us back when we do not love who we are. So this is super important. Self-love is so important. It is a foundation to so much for INFJs. Actually, you know what? Not even just INFJs, for humans in general. We all need to have a level of self-love for ourselves so that we can show up as our best and be that person that we want to be. When we don't have self-love, we do not have the courage to show up as who we want to be. We don't have the drive, isn't there? It controls so much of our actions. Anyway, that's like a rant. I'm not really getting off topic. I am just very passionate about self-love because I know how important it is. Okay, so let's get in to what I promised with this video. 5 toxic habits that are stopping us from getting that level of self-love that we really need so that we can live a life full of purpose and meaning and just be happy. Number 1, apologizing for taking up space. I did this all the time. I used to do this all the time. And you know what? I still have to be mindful of this because I still will apologize once in a while. I catch myself doing it. We tend to shrink ourselves, whether it's apologizing for having needs, opinions, or emotions. I used to apologize. I remember shopping with my oldest son. This was years ago. He's 24 now, so it's quite a few years ago. He was in my cart. And I remember if we accidentally bumped into somebody in the grocery store, or no, it would be them bumping into us. If I bumped into them, I definitely apologize. But even if people bumped into us, I would apologize to them that I was in their way. And I'm so sorry about that, even though I was trying to get some apples or whatever it would be, right? Like, it was crazy how much I apologized just for existing. We don't need to justify our existence, even though it feels like we do. I know that feeling, and I really felt like I had to justify my existence all the time, every day. We need to stop this habit by recognizing that your voice, your presence, and boundaries are just as valid as anybody else's. And you're worth it. So we need to stop that habit, become mindful of it. And when it happens, don't come down on yourself. Just, compassion. Oh, there it is. I did it again. So we're just going to go about life. Just noticing it is huge. Number 2, the next toxic habit that we need to stop is dismissing our own interests as weird or unimportant. Many of us, especially autistic INFJs, we downplay what we love because we think others won't understand or care. Now, this is quite interesting because I know for me, in the past, I would downplay my interests, actually to the point where I wouldn't even share my interests with other people because of how it got me judged. So there is a little bit backing that habit as to why we do it if we dug deeper, but that would be a video for another day. Your passions and those deep interests are what make you you. That's what makes us us. So we need to stop this habit by embracing our quirks and finding people who appreciate them. That is huge. When we are with people that are not our people, that is when they're going to judge us for our interests, for our different opinions, for different perspectives. We're going to feel very alienated. We're going to feel like we're very broken. And we're going to start apologizing for taking up space. So not only is it going to make dismissing our own interests habits very difficult to stop, but it's also going to make it very difficult to stop apologizing for taking up space. You need to find your people who appreciate you, because once you do, they start encouraging you. They want to hear what you're interested in. It is just as important to them as it is to you, and they're going to encourage you to pursue those interests, as weird as they may sound, because to them it's not going to sound weird. Now, if you're wondering where those people are, check out my INFJ meet and greet, because I really feel that you're going to find some of those people there. It made a huge game-changing, life-changing difference when I stopped hanging around with toxic people who I'm not saying are bad people, but they weren't good for me, and started finding people who I could really connect with. Huge difference, huge. Check out my INFJ meet and greet, links in the description of this video. Number 3, the next habit that we need to stop is living in fix-it mode instead of accepting ourselves now of who we are. I lived in the fix-it mode until I was almost 40, late 30s anyway. We're constantly striving for improvement. We love self-growth. We love improving ourselves, but we seem to focus on what needs fixing instead of how far we've already come. We never appreciate who we already are. So we need to stop this by reminding ourselves that growth is a journey and you are worthy of love right now, not just in some future better version of yourself. I'll be worthy of love in 2 years when I can fix all that's wrong with me. That was what I used to think. That was a common thought for me. Wrong. We're going to put that thought aside and we're going to say, no, I'm worthy of it now because look how far I've come. And if you can't see how far you've come, because I struggled with this, because I was in such a nasty, horrible place of how much I hated myself. A good exercise to do is every day, it only takes a few minutes, find one thing positive that you did that day that helped you grow. And be honest with it. Fine, there's always one thing. And at the end of the week, you can see the breadcrumbs of how much you've done in that week, of how much you've grown. In a month, it will blow you away. In 6 months, it's going to blow the top of your head off. It's a great tool to use if you're really stuck in fix-it mode and you can't see how far you've actually come, because I couldn't. Number 4, this one's really unexpected. You might not realize that this really impacts our self-love. It is tying our worth to how well we read other people's emotions. Now, INFJs and Autistic INFJs, we will often find we tie our worth to being validated from other people. But did you know that we will tie our worth to reading other people's emotions? We tend to feel responsible for how other people feel and how we respond to them, and we want to respond perfectly. But when we misread a situation or someone acts differently than we expected, we start to doubt ourselves and we'll come down on ourselves like it's our fault. We need to stop this by understanding that our worth is not measured by how well we understand other people. In fact, other people are not our responsibility at all. It's about how well we understand ourselves. That's all that matters. This is actually a big habit. There's a lot to unpack in this habit, and I'm not going to dig too deep into it, but I do want to say that I know as an INFJ, an autistic INFJ, I really felt responsible for everybody else. I felt responsible for their comfort level. I felt responsible for how happy they were. Everything, how well they were doing in life was my fault. I took it on. That was a huge weight on my shoulders. One lady years ago, she gave me one of the best pieces of advice that I still carry to this day. She said, everybody else's level of comfort is not your responsibility. Now, another lady, and you may follow this lady, Mel Robbins, because I love her. She talks about what we can control and what we can't control, and being able to identify it. The only thing that we can control is ourselves. What we cannot control is other people, how they act, how they respond, what their thoughts are. This ties into this, on tying your worth to how well you can read other people's emotions. We cannot, INFJs, we think that we can read other people's emotions well, and for the most part we can. However, how they're feeling, we cannot control. So there's not even really any point to trying hard to be accurate on reading their emotions because we can't control it anyway. That is one thing that I remind myself daily that is out of my control, and I just drop it. And I visualize myself just dropping that. If it's not in my control, I drop it. I let it go. I'm in my control. I hope that made sense. And definitely understand that worth is not measured. Our own worth is not measured by how well we understand others. It's on how well we understand ourselves, because that's what we can control. Number 5, the next toxic habit that we need to stop is waiting for external validation to feel enough. Lots of us will do this. We struggle to feel seen, which leads us to looking for validation from others before accepting ourselves. So if we're not getting that from other people, we feel that we are not good enough. We need to stop this habit by practicing self-acceptance. First, what you think of you matters. This goes back to this last habit I was talking about, where the lovely Mel Robbins, if you're not following her, I think you should because she's amazing. She stresses so often that we cannot control how other people think of us, what they think of us, their opinions on us. We can't control that. So we can't even really worry about that. But so often we use that to judge how well we're doing in life. We use something completely out of our control. What we think about ourselves matters, and that is what we control. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of you. There's so many things going on with everybody else that we just don't understand, and it's none of our business and we can't control it. So it doesn't matter. That's when we walk away. But what we think about ourselves is all that matters. That's all the validation we need. So for me, I struggled with my writing for years. Like I quit writing when I was very young, and my dream was to be an author when I was a kid. That's what I wanted to be, was an author. I had so many stories rolling around in my head. And I quit writing probably in my early teens because I was seeking outside validation, because I was worried about pleasing everybody and what other people thought. And as I got older and people kept coming up to me and saying, you're a writer, you should write some stories and blah, blah, blah. And that's a long story. And I'd be like, no, I'm not a writer. I struggled with this. Even though I was creating those stories still in my head, I really struggled with writing them down because I didn't think that I mattered. I was too worried. I had too much of my self-worth tied to everybody else's validation that I wasn't getting, because we're not ever going to get that. And as I wasn't getting it, it hacked on my self-worth even more. It turns out I am a writer. When I finally leaned into it, when I finally realized that I don't need all that validation, I can't control what other people think, I'm just going to do what it is that I do and be me, and that's all that I'm going to do. I wrote. I became part of writing projects, and now it's been 3 times over that I've been part of projects where we're international best-selling authors. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Because I dropped that habit of looking for external validation. Because I dropped that habit of tying my worth to how well I can read other people and worrying about what they thought of me. Which of these habits surprised you? I'm really curious, because some of them, I know when I was really working on myself, a lot of these surprised me. I didn't know that they actually impacted my self-love. I would like to hear which one surprised you the most that impacts self-love. Thanks for joining me. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you soon again. Also, if you're interested in that INFJ meet and greet, check out the link in the description, or my new class, Healing Through Creation. The link is in the description of this video. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I would appreciate it. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.